In a quiet elementary school on the outskirts of town, a classroom buzzed with the usual hum of children's voices, crayons scratching on paper, the assignment from Miss Carter, a kind but firm teacher in her early 30s, was simple: draw something you are scared of. For most kids, it was a fun task that quickly filled pages with spiders, monsters, and thunderstorms. But for 8-year-old Malik, the instruction was more than just a simple classroom exercise. It was an opportunity to express what he couldn't say out loud. Malik sat at his desk, clutching a black crayon tightly in his small hand, his brow furrowed as he glanced around. Other kids were busy drawing without a care, but he hesitated, as if unsure whether he should even begin. Slowly, he started to sketch, his strokes deliberate and heavy on the paper. As the image took shape, it became clear it wasn't the work of an ordinary child's imagination, but a glimpse into Malik's world of fear and pain. The drawing that emerged was chilling: a tall man, face twisted in anger, holding a beer bottle in one hand and a belt in the other. The lines were dark, almost frantic, capturing not just the appearance, but the very essence of terror. Malik's hands trembled as he added details, each line speaking volumes of what he'd seen and felt. To him, this wasn't just a drawing, it was as reality as silent scream. He titled the drawing simply, "Dad." When the time came for students to share their drawings, Miss Carter moved around the room, offering praise and gentle encouragement. She smiled at the familiar fears of childhood: spiders, darkness, clowns. But when she reached Malik, her smile faded. She stared at the picture, her heart sinking as she took in the man's angry eyes. The bottle gripped tight, and the belt raised high. This wasn't the work of a child imagining a scary monster. This was real, too real. Trying to keep her voice steady, Miss Carter knelt beside Malik's desk and asked softly, "Malik, can you tell me about your drawing?" Malik looked up, his brown eyes filled with a mix of fear and sadness. His voice was barely a whisper as he pointed at the figure. "That's my dad," he said. "He scares me." Miss Carter felt a lump in her throat. She knew that beneath those simple words lay a story of pain that no child should have to endure. Miss Carter carefully folded the drawing and assured Malik that everything would be all right. Though she wasn't sure how, her mind raced with questions and concern. She gently asked Malik a few more questions, trying to piece together the heartbreaking truth behind the image. Malik answered with short, hesitant sentences, revealing glimpses of a life filled with shouting, broken bottles, and nights spent hiding in fear. His small, brave words painted a picture that was hard to hear. Miss Carter knew she couldn't just let this go. She stepped out of the classroom, her heart heavy, and made the difficult call to the authorities, her hands trembling as she dialed. She felt a wave of emotions: anger, sadness, and a fierce determination to help this little boy. It wasn't just about Malik's drawing. It was a cry for help from a child who had been suffering in silence. When the social workers arrived, they gently spoke with Malik, asking questions to understand what was happening at home. Malik opened up slowly, his voice fragile but honest. He talked about his father, Andre, whose drinking often turned him into someone unrecognizable, a man filled with rage, his anger often directed at Malik, and his mother, Felicia. Malik described how he would hide in his room, pressing his hands over his ears to block out the yelling and the sound of breaking glass. It was as if his home was a battlefield, and he was a soldier trying to survive another day. The authorities acted swiftly, taking Andre in for questioning. It didn't take long for them to confirm what Malik had drawn. Andre was an alcoholic, often violent, and his behavior had been terrorizing his family for years. Felicia, bruised and weary, had been too scared to speak up. Trapped in a cycle of fear, hope, and disappointment, the authorities knew that something had to change, and with Malik's drawing as evidence, they finally had the leverage to intervene. Malik and Felicia were moved to a safe place, away from Andre's reach. Social services provided them with counseling, support, and a chance to rebuild their lives without the constant threat of violence. For the first time in a long time, they felt safe. Malik began therapy, where he slowly found his voice, expressing his feelings through art and words. His drawings changed to less dark, more colorful, reflecting a life that was beginning to heal. Miss Carter visited Malik and Felicia occasionally, bringing small gifts or just a comforting presence. She was grateful that Malik's courage had sparked a change, and that her decision to act had made a difference. She never saw herself as a hero, just a teacher who saw beyond the lines of a child's drawing, but she knew that her choice to make that call had altered 2 lives forever, pulling them from the shadows and giving them a new chance at happiness. As Malik's story spread, it became a powerful reminder that courage knows no age or race. It taught those who heard it that sometimes the most unexpected heroes are those who care enough to act, to see the pain in others, and step in when no one else will. Miss Carter's classroom was never quite the same after that day, filled with a deeper understanding of the hidden battles her students might be facing. And Malik, the boy who once drew his fears, was slowly learning to draw hope. The message was clear: helping others isn't about who they are or where they come from. It's about seeing the pain, hearing the silent cries, and doing something when it's needed most. It's about standing up, reaching out, and believing that even the smallest actions can lead to profound change. In the end, it's about saving people from toxic places, one drawing at a time, and showing that kindness and bravery can bridge any divide.